If you clicked on this video, I'm gonna bet 1 to 3 things just happened to you. Number 1, you've been in fights with your parents for the longest time and you've hit your breaking point. You're ready to move out. Number 2, you really want to decorate your own place and you've always wanted to just live alone. Number 3, I don't know. You just wanted to click on this video because why not? A little over 1 year ago, I moved out of my parents' home at the age of 18 to a brand new state all by myself. Before moving out, I loved watching videos like this one. That's why I wanted to create a video and a guide on how I personally did it. That way, if there's any other girls or guys out there who are curious on what the process looks like, sorry, there is some wild stuff going on out there. I'm gonna split this video into 4 different chapters. Chapter 1, planning and saving. Chapter number 2, sending it. Chapter 3, applying and moving in. And chapter 4, living your dream life. So let's get started with chapter number 1, planning and saving. Personally, I think you should start any big goal with a vision board. I mean, it doesn't have to strictly be a vision board, but planning a rough draft on what you want your life to look like. So I spent a lot of time crafting up Pinterest boards and researching what aligns with me. Where do I want to be living? Where do I want to be located and doing with my life? Once you know what you want in life, it makes it a lot easier to work towards a goal and to start saving and planning for that because you have a motivation and a drive because you know what you want. So this is where the not as fun part comes in. Sadly, not as fun as making a vision board. You gotta budget. I know everyone says this, but there's sadly a lot of random things that you have to pay for as an adult and you're just like, why in the world do I have to pay X amount of money for such a small thing? It really makes no sense, but sadly, you have to start saving up for it. I would recommend saving up at least 1 year's worth of money that will go towards your monthly expenditures. I'm gonna list off a bunch of things that I personally have to pay for and I'm assuming a lot of other adults have to pay for. So you should start looking into how much things will cost, like your rent, utilities, renter's insurance, food, gas, car insurance, health insurance, gym memberships, phone and internet bill, and then your fun money. I was so particular on all of this. I made sure to find out like exact numbers for how much my car insurance was gonna cost for a specific vehicle that I was planning on driving. But it gave me a lot of reassurance to know exactly what I should be expecting. You can use the 50, 30, 20% rule to help you align your budget. 50% of your monthly income should go towards your needs, like the things I just listed. 30% should go towards your wants, like this blanket under me, I feel like that's a want. And then 20% should go to savings. That way you have a rainy day fund just in case like your tire explodes and you have to replace it. Now, once you have your monthly budget, you'll know how much you will require per month, which means you'll know how much you need to save for a whole year's worth of that. And then keep in mind, during the first few months you move out, there'll be a lot of other expenditures like paying for a security deposit, paying to start up your Wi-Fi, buying furniture, and a bunch of random things that you'll need. So make sure to save up some other extra money on the side for that too. Basically, just save. Save as much as you possibly can while you're living rent-free. Please. Chapter 2, time to just send it. So once you have your finances together and you feel like you're gonna be comfortable for at least a year if for whatever reason you completely lost your job and your income, time to move out. So I sold all of my things in my mother's house on Facebook Marketplace and I made sure to only take cash for everything I sold. That way it felt like I had like an actual budget, a physical budget I could hold to buy my new furniture when I moved into my new place. So it felt more like a trade and swapping of furniture more than like getting rid of everything and like starting anew. It might have been girl math. So that's a little tip, I guess, if you're trying to sell all your things, you can use the money you make, buy the new stuff. I booked my one-way flight to Hawaii and I only brought 2 big carry-on bags. We're literally like so close to the 50-pound weight limit. And then obviously a backpack and I brought my PC with me as an overbin item. That was really scary. I thought my PC was gonna break, but it was fine. This is more of a personal experience, but when I got to Hawaii, I stayed at many different Airbnbs while trying to find the right apartment for me. I thought it was gonna take like a month. I thought I was gonna get here, find my dream apartment, sign the lease, and live happily ever after. But I got here beginning of April and I ended up moving into this apartment beginning of August. So it took me all summer. Because of this, I was staying at so many different places. I was staying at a hostel for a while because I had nowhere else to go. Keep in mind, I literally like knew nobody here. So I had to put all my stuff in a storage unit for a while too because I couldn't just like haul around all these heavy suitcases every time I moved every week. It was definitely an era, a very stressful era, but nonetheless character building. I would not recommend this. I feel like if you're moving to like any other state, it's probably easier to lock in an apartment or a home without being there. But because this is an island with like lots of demand and very little space, they want to make sure that you're a real person, that you're here to tour the place before you can sign anything, which makes sense. But finally, after viewing a lot of listings on Zillow through like professional realtors, I decided to tour a random place on Facebook Marketplace. I was like, whatever, I'm bored. Let's tour this random apartment. And I ended up actually loving it. It didn't have every single thing on my list, but it had most of them, and I was becoming desperate. So I ended up applying for it, and this is what leads us to chapter 3. Applying and moving in. So here's the boring part. I'm just gonna hit you with some boring like info, but crucial stuff you need to know before moving out. Landlords will usually require that you make 3 times your monthly rent. For example, if your rent for whatever reason is $1,000, I don't know how you'd get that unless you had roommates, then you'll need to make $3,000 per month. They also usually ask for references, people they can call and be like, hey, how's Annie? Is she weird or something? They ask for a rental history, so basically prior landlords that they can call up and also ask for references, and then a good credit score. Now, if you're anything like me, you do not have a rental history or a good credit score because you just got to this planet. How in the world are you supposed to have a good rental history if you've never had the ability to rent in the first place? This is one of the main reasons why I could not find a place to live between April and August, because I applied to so many different places, but they rejected me simply because I hadn't had a previous landlord or a credit score. Now, I was able to work around the credit score because of my lovely mother. She was willing to co-sign with me on any lease. That way, if for whatever reason I couldn't pay the rent, she would be liable and pay it for me. Hopefully it would never happen, but it gives the landlord some peace of mind. I know not everyone is able to do that, so you might be able to show your landlord your savings account if you have a decent amount of money saved up, maybe put some extra money down beforehand. Now for the credit score, I was just kind of cooked, and I was just hoping that maybe one landlord won't care, and I was lucky enough that the landlord to this house just didn't really care. She was desperate to get a tenant in here. I'm pretty sure this unit had been available for a few months at that point. She was nice enough to just approve my rental application within like 10 minutes, which I was so relieved and excited about that someone was nice enough to give just like an 18-year-old girl the chance. So if you keep getting rejected, keep trying. Eventually you'll hit like a nice lady or some mom or just somebody with a little bit of empathy that is willing to take a chance on you. So once your application is accepted, you will be given a lease. You have to sign this lease, but before doing so, make sure to look over it. I looked over it very thoroughly to see what day rent was due, what would happen if I didn't pay my rent, like if there were fees applied. This is whether or not you're allowed to have pets, and a bunch of other like terms and agreements and small print. You just double check. And then also before you move in, they usually ask for a security deposit. This is basically to ensure that if for whatever reason you trash the place, they have your money that they can use to repair it and fix any damages that you caused. So if you're a good tenant and you don't leave massive gaping holes in the wall, then you will most likely get your security deposit back by the end of your lease. And usually your security deposit is the price of your monthly rent. So once you have that paid and you've signed everything, congrats, you have the keys. Chapter number 4, living your dream life. Obviously you gotta furnish the place. This is where your vision board from earlier comes in handy. You get to make your blank apartment your home. This was super fun for me personally because I love interior decorating, always have my whole life. This is something that really drove me to move out of my parents' house. It can get a little pricey. I definitely spent a little too much decorating my place, but I made sure to use Facebook Marketplace a lot during this. For example, egg chair behind me, Facebook Marketplace. Shelves behind me, Facebook Marketplace. Little guy, Ross. So you can definitely find some deals and ways to make it somewhat cheap. And make sure to be patient with yourself during this first few months of living alone. There were so many moments where I was just telling myself like, I'm literally just a girl. How in the world am I supposed to get this massive couch up this elevator into my apartment with my parents like thousands of miles away? What in the world did I get myself into? But it's through these like difficult moments that you gain trust with yourself and you feel like a proper adult. Because once you're on the other end of getting the couch up the elevator, you're like, damn, I did that. I can do hard things. I mean, this applies for basically like any challenge in life, especially moving out. It gives you a lot of confidence that you can indeed take on the world. That's really cheesy though, I'm sorry. Now that you've made it into your dream place, it's time to actually live your dream life. For me, this meant eating healthier, getting exercise, taking care of my space by keeping it tidy, basically applying a bunch of healthy habits. I feel like it's a lot easier to do all those things when you are living in a space that you can call your own. I was so much more excited to wake up every day when I first moved here and go outside and go for a run, just because like I felt at peace with where I was. Start to love your own company, and I feel like that's one of the best parts about this. But of course, you do want friends. You can't just like be by yourself. So if you did move to a brand new state or a brand new city, whatever, and you literally know nobody, join some social clubs, go to church. Go to church. Go outside, like literally anything you could think of that you can meet new people, put yourself out there. Personally, I know I've said this a million times, but I joined Run Club. All of my friends are from Run Club, and we are very like-minded people, so it was the perfect place to meet people like yourself. Of course, you don't have to join Run Club, like a book club, anything. Maybe take some community college classes. I don't know. Friends are super important because you will feel a little bit lonesome and like, where am I? What am I doing all by myself without some friends? But be patient. They will come in time. My final bullet point, keep on working. This is something that I failed to do. My work-life balance like really got off scale. This was work, This was life. I was not prioritizing work at all. And I really regret that because my income right now is not the best. I'm gonna be like open and vulnerable with you guys so you don't make the same mistake that I did. I am lucky that I did actually save up the amount of money I did for moving out. Otherwise, I'd be completely cooked right now. So just because you moved out doesn't mean you can all of a sudden give up on your budget like I did. You gotta actually stick to the plan. I know it's a lot of fun and it's very stressful and it's a whole new world and it's hard to keep that balance between work and life. But if you wanna end up staying living alone and not back at your parents' house, I would recommend keep your job. I do YouTube for a living and I just was not making myself work. So whoopsie. Anyways, that is it for today's video. Let me know if you have any more questions down below in the comments. This was just my personal experience on how I moved out, tips and tricks that were helpful for me. Every experience is going to be a little bit different. Definitely watch a few more videos. I can say though, moving out was one of the proudest things I've done with my life and was totally worth it. So take with that what you will and subscribe and like the video if you want. I'll talk to you guys later.